Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to TechGig webinar series, our endeavor to empower techies. We believe that sharing of knowledge is the key to enhance our skills and grow us as professionals. With this principle in mind, we have initiated a series of webinars conducted by industry experts to give you all a crisp insight of various domains. The topic of today's session is Migrate to Oracle BIEE to tap outstanding OLAP scorecard, KPI, and mapping features. And this is the third session in the Business Intelligence series. Our guest speaker today is Mr. Om Prakash Lalchandani, AVP Real Apps Migrations. Mr. Om Prakash is a certified DBA and a Linux Unix administrator with 22 years cross-platform experience as core Oracle DBA, developer, architect, Sybase DBA, and SQL DBA expert. He has worked as senior DBA, project manager, and senior consultant for top international bank, SFI, and MNCs. He has also worked as a team lead for large database teams. Mr. Om has led several migration projects for critical databases requiring 24/7 support. He has also performed as replication architect for distributed database support. Mr. Om Prakash has authored several articles and blogs on the database topics covering replication, migration, standby databases, data card, and updatable snapshots and MVs. So without further delay, I introduce you all to our guest speaker. Over to you, Mr. Om.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining this webinar session on migrating to Oracle BIEE for outstanding OLAP, scorecard, KPI, and mapping features. So let's move straight to the agenda for today's session. We will first talk about the rationale behind any migration. So some companies claim that they are #1 brand and their products run on the brand name. So is this a fact or fiction? Then why is OBI widely acceptable and why other products are being migrated to OBI? This question will be at the background at all times during the complete session, and we will try to find the answer. Then we will see some real migrations rationale, like Cognos migrated to OBI and similar examples. Can we say that we must migrate as we have this product already in the market and this company also migrated? We'll try to get this answer towards the end of the session. And before we go to the next slide, may I also state that the object of this session is mere knowledge sharing and not to promote any product, company, or a site. So I hope that this message is unambiguously clear to all of us. So moving on to the next slide. Migration actually keeps us abreast with the latest technological trends. Otherwise, we would have been using the same character-based application on a monochrome monitor. Almost all companies have witnessed transition and lessons learned. This transition is a critical part in a company's life, and therefore it needs to be planned carefully. I have known top companies whimsically implementing upgrades directly to the production environment and failing terribly, resulting in severe production downtime and as an aftermath finding in escape work. This work we discuss here is about critically analyzing migration requirements, development of migration and testing plans, implementing in a test environment, and extending and effecting the results in the production. We mean this sort of migration which results in a low downtime switchover, and we pick that migration which actually reduces the total cost of operations in a given period of time. So a company which is trying to give a fillip to its profitability and invites and adopts those processes which turns its operations compatible with CMM level 5 or 6 Sigma process improvement methods surely redefines its migration process itself. In other words, process-based company which has attained level of maturity or a company which has reduced its process defects approaching to Six Sigma may have well understood the significance of continuous improvement. Certainly, only a chaotic company can effect its unplanned upgrades to production and the scaling miserably. Now we find that OBIEE is industry standard. This slide talks about the current trends in the software development and the way in which OBIEE is being shaped by these trends. The growing trends are to develop software that is modular, collaborative, and adaptive. This is unlike the monopolistic trends displayed by some so-called top brand company, where the terminator's objective was to supply all of that organization's IT needs and to house any competitors who already had a foot in the door. This international business predator had a rather inflexible approach towards change and in the past succeeded to become a sole supplier. However, this approach doesn't work at present, nor will it work in the future. In more recent times, the IT infrastructure mix of large organizations is continuously changing. Consolidation around a single vendor's product is no longer practical due to the cost of consolidation. So the objective for the IT of today's large companies is to find modular solutions that allow hardware and software from any different vendors to work together. As a software vendor in today's marketplace, your best chance of getting a foot in the door with a new client is if your product can offer seamless integration with the company's existing product set or not. If our top predator cannot do this, it has to either end its product service line or market or service the products of other companies. Thus we see how vital the migration is. And migration is not only adopting a new technology, it can also mean adopting the new trends, new challenge, and new ideology. OBIEE is essentially a consolidating reporting tool. It takes data from disparate sources, use some clever mapping software to integrate it together so that it seems to come from a single source. A single database table with a large number of columns, and then construct reports based on this unified semantic view of corporate data. If your organization acquires a new business with data served by a different software vendor, all you have to do is to amend the mapping. The change in place, the new data is merged seamlessly to your existing set of corporate codes. The flexibility inherent in OBIEE can be used in other ways. It applies the collection and consolidation of data from the presentation of that data. The presentation of data performed by OBIEE's presentation services component is only very loosely coupled to the collection and consolidation of data performed by OBIEE's server component. The industry standard ODBC interface that the OBIEE server presents to the world can just as easily be used by a reporting tool from a different vendor. So we see an absence of the vendor tie that we have been so accustomed to in the past, and it's to our advantage. Defining a unified semantic model for your business data is something you want to do once, and having done so, it's subject to incremental change. However, you may well wish to change the way that data is displayed or processed as new reporting tools come on the market. For example, while OBIEE's presentation service component offers good basic business graphics, if you want to use technical graphics, statistical analysis, or visualization of software, that product ODBC standard, you can plug it into your BI server, and there you are. You will be leveraging the investment you have made in your unified semantic model. So you are not reinventing the wheel. So besides this, we have these great many features which OBIEE has to offer today. These are the outstanding OLAP features, innovative dashboard KPIs, maps, mobiles, app servers, Weblogic, Server and Price Manager for System Administrator. It has flexible architecture. It enhances Essbase support. Moving on to the next slide. So this is the new UI or user interface. It is based around two new web components. OBIEE 11G has new Fusion UI, which makes it easier for a new user to work with the tool, create new reports, access existing reports and dashboards, and take advantage of new functionality like agents, KPIs, and scoreboards. This is also referred to by Oracle as a unified framework. Unified because it has interactive dashboards, BI publisher, so referred to as published reporting and marketing, along with the new performance management features such as KPIs and scoreboards, all in one place. This homepage shown in the screenshot provides quick links to existing reports and to create new ones. The common catalog page, which provides list of reports, dashboards, and other objects, and new search facility, which we'll discuss shortly. Then we have a common header, the section at the top of each page you'll find with buttons or key functions. So as you can see, the home page is itself divided into several sections. On the left-hand side is the create section that provides links to create a new analysis report or old request, which were referred to in the 10G version. And dashboard, publish reporting, BI publish reports, as well as agents and other objects. Also makes the process of creating dashboard prompts and share filters more obvious. Now, if you select the analysis option in the create, we saw in the previous slide, a list of subject areas are displayed for you to choose from. Once you select the subject area, the interface opens up in a view similar to the answers in the previous video. If somebody has worked in OBIEE 10G, you realize it. So this is the scrolling down. Under the create list is a set of shortcuts for browsing to manage your set of reports. Here. The whole area within the home page is scrollable within a frame. And in the screenshot here, I have scrolled down to reveal the browse manage area. Get started underneath it here. Then we have this analysis and IR, right? So clicking on new displays a list of the objects that you have in your role, for which you have the permission, like analysis, which opens answers to create a new report, dashboard to create a new dashboard, report for a BI publisher, and so on. Then we have the condition, published reporting, enable intelligence, performance management section. And this is the common header area we were talking about earlier. This you will find at the top of each page. This provides a consistent set of buttons, options, and other links that are used across all the OBIEE applications. So we can click at the catalog link in the common header area. This opens up the common catalog view, which in 11G provides great feature of search facility that indexes and crawls the web catalog in the background. In the catalog view, you can navigate through the web catalog on the top left hand side, which is 11G also includes BI publisher content. So at the right hand side in this catalog view, you can see the list of objects currently selected, and which also includes a preview facility that allows us to see the report before we actually open it. And of course you can minimize the preview. Here is the preview, and you can actually minimize it if you don't want to see this. Just do. Then we have this new catalog list. See the list of objects currently selected, and also prevents the facility that allows us to see the report before we open it. So all of the objects that we can see and the tasks that can perform on them are secured based on our profile in the web catalog. Then we are talking about the search area. This is object type drop-down list and text box for simple searches, and an advanced search button that opens the catalog view and allows you to refine the search, sort the contents, and so on. Next to the search area is a button for administration. You can press choose a presentation server administration page. This is similar to the same page in OBIEE 10G, but now includes links to reload server metadata, manage maps, and also manage BI publisher, which in fact takes you to the standard BI publisher administration screen. This is the presentation server admin slide. This has got the links like security and session management. Security is much enhanced in OBIEE 11G. Coming to the KPIs. KPIs are the key performance indicators defined by organizations seeking to manage and improve performance to measure their progress. So these quantifiable KPIs usually analyzed by dimensions such as a customer, a product, geography, and KPIs can help organizations quickly focus on activities that have the greatest impact on business performance. In program management, we are all aware of scorecards, which is now regarded critical to corporate performance management. Let's now introduce to scorecard. Overall goals to improve corporate profitability or increase customer satisfaction can be defined here. We can further drill down on those goals into a series of objectives that help to meet the goals. So each of these objectives and initiatives associated with one or more of the organization's KPI progress towards each objective which can be measured. So Oracle Business Intelligence Enterprise Edition provides a means of defining KPIs within your business intelligence metadata and defining scorecards with use of these KPIs. This column shows how KPIs are defined in this release and how they can be used to create a basic scorecard that measures progress towards a corporate goal. So the example in this column uses OBIEE 11G, the sample sales schema that comes in with from Oracle 9i database onwards. This is downloadable from oracle.com Tech Network. So for this column, suppose an organization has a goals like improve performance by increasing sales and improve the profit on these sales. These goals require monitoring performance against the targets for both sales and the margins on the sales. Finding these are KPIs and managing them through a scorecard. So how we are going to use it that? We just log on to the Oracle OBIEE 11G edition. From the home page, select the new KPI as you saw earlier from the common header area. The KPI entry screen will appear like this. This screen enables us to define the actual value.
Mr. Om,
and
I would
target.
like to interrupt you. Your screen has stuck. Can you just please check? We can see general properties screen as of now.
General properties. You cannot see the KPI, please?
No, the general properties screen is visible. The KPIs, that is what is visible now.
It's visible for the first time now?
KPIs, and there's a screenshot of general properties. Is that the screen that you're showing?
Yes, yes.
Okay, then you can continue.
Sorry for this interruption. So I think now we would be clear that how to come to this screen. Basically, this is coming from common header area, and where we select the new and then KPI from the common header area. So this screen appears. It is not possible for me to show each and every step here because it then has a lot of screens in presentation. So I just wanted to have a limited number of screens. So now moving on to defining the threshold. So here we can actually define the targets for the threshold, which would be like the target for the OK, warning, or critical threshold. We need to specify the values that will determine whether the performance achieved warrants an OK, warning, or the critical indication. So in this example, performance will be considered OK if it is within 90% of the target, and critical if it falls below 70%. Yes, sir. So we move on to the KPI watchlist screen. Again, from new, we move to the KPI watchlist, and we come over to this screen, this is here. From the catalog view on the left-hand side of the screen, we can drag and drop the two KPIs we created previously onto the watch list on the right. The selected KPIs will then be displayed in a grid format, showing the actual and target values along with the variance and the percentage variance as shown in this figure. So this is how we can actually see the scorecard. So this is actually arranged into a simple scorecard to help achieve organization's goals. Using this scorecard, we define an objective like improve performance that drills down into two contributing objectives: increase sales and maintain margins, which you can see here. Users will be able to use the scorecard to view the progress towards the organization's goal, either for all product categories or for any one category in particular. So again, we have to move from the header screen and select the new scorecard. When prompted, we can name the scorecard organization performance and click OK to accept the default scorecard setting. So with this scorecard open, we can now navigate to the strategy panel. Repeat this process to create another objective, naming it increases sales. This new objective should be located under the improve performance objective to indicate that it contributes to the broader objective. And we can assign this KPI to it. We can use the catalog panel and drag and drop the sales performance KPI onto the objective and KPI list for the objective, and we can save this objective. So here we have a primary objective, improve performance, with two contributing objectives, increase sales and maintain margins at the rate. To complete the initial scorecard, you have to create a strategy tree to show how these objectives are related. We again need to navigate to the strategy panel at the top left of the screen, and this time click the view strategy tree button. When the strategy tree appears, we can expand the entries under the objective to see the KPIs and their values. So this is how we arrive at this scorecard. Then we can actually map the geographies and business information together to see results. So oftenly BIF include an element of spatial data with sales and performance data analyzed in terms of dimensions such as client location and geography. OBIEE, which included Oracle Locator feature and Oracle Spatial Database option, can store spatial or geographical data such as maps, and the Oracle Fusion Middleware Map Viewer feature can transform the spatial data in the form of web-based interactive maps. So it is pre-integrated with the Map Viewer and gives us the ability to create business intelligence analyses and dashboards that include maps. So again, we can download the sample data and installation instructions as I've done. You can download the sample spatial data and maps from Oracle Technology Network, and you can create a custom point layer map. In this example, assume we have a retail data for a store. Most of the stores are assuming San Francisco Bay Area. And we can create the map view. So again, we have to use the same common header menu to select new and analysis. And when prompted, we need to select the sales, and then from the subject area panel, we can choose the columns for analysis like metro city, latitude, longitude, and revenue. We can also create a filter and set the city. And while selecting the map option in the new view, we can actually have the map view displayed. So in fact, we are displaying our analysis over the map, and we can further drill down towards the statistics displayed by the map. So this is one great feature in this OBIEE 11G version. Coming to yet another feature, which is called BI Mobile. This is currently available for mobile devices like iPhones and iPads. So to access the BI information through your iOS mobile device, you need to download the Oracle Business Intelligence mobile application from the Apple App Store to your iOS device and install it, and then create the connection to your organization's Oracle Business Intelligence Enterprise Edition. So you do not need to specially configure your BI installation to enable mobile access. You must ensure that Oracle Business Intelligence Presentation Services is accessible to your mobile device, which is typically at HTTP, your server name, then port 9704/analytics. And if your BI installation is behind a firewall, you can configure your iOS device to connect first using a VPN to your company network. In fact, you need to do only one-time configuration of your mobile app, including your where you need to just include your server details and your IPs and those informations. And after creating your connection to an OBI server, you can start to analyze your data. So assuming you are using your iPad, as shown in this slide, to start with view your favorite list, which shows among other BI content your brand analysis dashboard here. So you should be able to see this sort of a screen on your iPad. Here you can see there is a favorite. So you can also add a screen to the favorite list by just tapping favorites at the bottom of any OBI mobile screen. You can select the brand analysis from the favorites list to view a dashboard of brand performance in the form of a pivot table, several graphs, a ticker, and some prompts and controls on the left-hand side of the screen. If you switch to another page in the dashboard, tap the down arrow at the top of the page. So just as you can with dashboards on your laptop or desktop, you can interact with pivot tables, prompts, and other objects on the iPad screen to further explore your data. And you can even tap your email at the bottom of the screen. And you can send the link to this page to someone and again refresh at any time to update your view of the data live. So all of these alert analysis and dashboards are the same BI objects that are defined in the OBI server, ensuring that you are kept up to date with your company performance wherever you access the data. So even at the morning breakfast table, you have today's updates and on how your organization is performing. The most current analysis in hand, you are ready to take action whatever you do. So although the tablet computers such as iPad are great for analyzing data on a relatively large screen, you might as well want to consult your company's data while on the move and with only a smartphone in your hand. So OBI mobile is also available for the iPhone and iPod Touch, and application is again downloadable, can be installed and configured in the same way as can be configured for the iPad. So the OBI mobile installed and configured on your iPhone or iPod, whatever it is, you can access dashboards the same way as you do for the iPad. But since here you have a smaller screen, you might want to take advantage of the mobile layout available on the phone or iPod Touch or iPod, which instead of displaying all content in the desktop layout, rearranges the content in a vertical stacked layout and resizes graphs to make them fit the screen better. So in fact, OBI mobile is a hybrid iOS application that uses native controls with server-side rendering to deliver BI content to your mobile device. And to reduce network load, it caches content and strips out unneeded JavaScript code. And OBI presentation services renders graphs in an image format that can be displayed by iOS device. The prompts and sliders are converted to native controls, and map views are simplified to display better on mobile devices. So thus we see that OBI, you can access your BI content in the road, in a cafe, or wherever else you may be when you need that information fast. All content on your BI server is available to you, and you can access content such as KPIs, alerts, publish reports, and performance dashboards from your mobile device. So here we come to the architecture part of OBI. So as we have seen, that most obvious new feature is the UI, but at the background there has been a lot of changes to the architecture and how you perform systems management. There's still the basic concept of a BI server, presentation server, RPD, and so on, but it's now all managed, in some cases hosted using Weblogic Server, the J2E application server that Oracle has adopted following the acquisition of DEA. For those who are interested in the architecture and have some knowledge of the previous architecture in Oracle 10G OBI, the Oracle application server was used in a limited form to provide a gateway between the user's browser and the C++ OBI server applications to host the BI Office and BI Publisher J2E applications. In OBI 11G, Weblogic together with the associated technologies such as OPMN, GMS, and ODL are much more prominent, and you're going to be administering an OBI 11G system. You'll be getting to know Weblogic pretty well together with the latest version of Oracle Enterprise Manager. This Oracle Enterprise Manager is it's now called as Oracle Fusion Middleware Control. So this is again talking about the Weblogic Server technology. Parts of OBI that are written in J2E include the BI Publisher, BI Office plugin, BI Security Service, BI SOA services, and BI Action services. And the JMX beans that are used for configuring OBI system components, which were implemented as Windows services in 10G, include the BI service, BI presentation service, BI viewer, and BI cluster controller. So here's a slide which says that what are the key Fusion Middleware technologies, terminologies, and utilities we often refer to. This Weblogic Server, or WLS, this is, as we said, that it's a J2E application server that Oracle uses across the board for all their 11GB applications, such as Essbase, Discover, BI Publisher, real-time decisions, and so on. Then we have this OPMN, which is Oracle Process Manager and Notification Server. which you may have first come across at Oracle Application Server in 10G version, where it was used to start up the various application server components. So this is now adopted across the technology stack to start, stop, and monitor processes across distributed servers, and it is used in OBIEE 11G to do the same for system components. We have dynamic monitoring system, or DMS, which works alongside OPMN and provides statistics on the various components which can be persisted in the database. We have this Oracle Diagnostic Logging. This is a centralized framework for logging. Java Platform Security and Credential Store Framework are just two parts of security in 11G. Security has a big change in 11G, with users no longer stored in the RPG, including the administrator user, which is now gone, and users, roles, and groups now managed by Weblogic, linking out to LDAP servers as necessary. And there are two more changes which revolve around patching and upgrading. Patches are now handled with OPatch, the standard mechanism for other Oracle products as well. Then there is an upgrade assistant, again something common to Oracle world, to migrate installation and metadata from previous releases. So with OBIEE 11G, you can use Oracle Weblogic Server admin console to start up the Weblogic managed server, and that contains the OBIEE components, and then use Oracle Fusion Middleware control to start these individual components. So typically here is the Weblogic Server admin console. Default port is 7001. So we need to actually log into the Weblogic admin console and navigate to the server view. Then instruct the node managers to start Weblogic managed server, which typically takes a couple of minutes time. And this is the Fusion Middleware control, also known as Enterprise Manager. So if you want to stop and start any of the OBIEE components, you do this via this Fusion Middleware control. There's also a command line utility called OPMN. You can also use the OPMN command line utility, but Oracle recommends to use Fusion Middleware Control GUI tool for starting and stopping individual components. So a couple of things you might have noticed here. You can see the entry for the managed server that contains the gateway components for OBIEE. Core application under business intelligence is the application that manages the server application that is written in C++. And also you can notice that one of the components which is shown in red is down. And in fact, you can see or drill down further that why this particular component is down. So you can come to this screen. From the capacity management, you can select the availability from the tabs and see that it's the scheduler which is down. If you rectify the problem, the recommended way is to just stop and select this and stop and start this component. So this gives you in glance that which components are down and how we can fix those problems. And then at the performance tab, you can select or deselect certain options, like you can enable or disable the cache here, or you can specify the cache size. And as you can see, you can also configure different options like session related, or you can choose any scalability or availability, or you can specify any metric, and also recommends to select or deselect or set the options from here. You can also use the configuration file to set the option, but the best way is to do it from the capacity management tool. Now, one great new enhancement for OBIEE in 11G version is the enhancements to Essbase. In the older versions, Essbase had problems like lack of proper support for unbalanced and value-based hierarchies, inflexibility around changes in the Essbase outline, no out-of-box UBA support, and no way to access non-default member aliases. So we find that these problem areas have been worked upon, and we find improvement in the new versions of OBIEE. We have the support for RAG level and value-based hierarchy. So you now get the opportunity to specify whether the hierarchy is RAG level or for time dimension. This again the new feature, the ability to designate the hierarchies as parent-child hierarchy. Suppose we have no example of store and staff associated with them, and each staff has a manager, so you find that there's sort of a hierarchy in this example. And when we define this hierarchy, we can choose the dimension for parent-child. So the way 11G supports parent-child hierarchies is to create what's referred to as a closure table behind your source data that takes each of the individual members and explodes out to the hierarchy. This is done through a wizard that runs SQL against a data set, creates and populates a table, and then maps it into the physical layer metadata, creating a simple link between the data and in your fact table and this parent-child hierarchy. You need to refresh this table every time whenever there is a change using the script provided by the wizard. and we have this new reports and templates. This again new feature with Oracle BI Publisher. It sets up new reports and templates that they use. In previous versions of BI Publisher, you first create a data model and then create a report definition. But here, you can create a report definition and subsequently you can create a data model. You can see here. And you can model or base your data on the spreadsheet. You can use the report creation wizard, which was not available previously. So you have a report creation wizard if you want to base your report on a given spreadsheet. As you saw here. Interesting new feature with OBIEE is the version control support and new repository format. So even if you are using a third-party version control software like Subversion, this could be plugged in with this and you can have all the version control information. This version control information gets stored in the MDS XML format, which replaces the previously format which was stored in the RPG or the binary files. So now we have the new XML format. So this XML format can again be broken down to individual XML. You can see here in this screen. And here is where you can plug in your third-party version control software. Then we have the outstanding feature of the OLAP. And here we have the ability to import Oracle cubes, dimensions, and hierarchies into the physical layer. So this provides an alternative to the Oracle BI plugin for Analytics Workspace Manager. When cubes are imported using the Oracle BI administration tool, the physical layer is mapped directly to the cube and dimensions the passing cube and hierarchy views. The SQL created in this case selects from the OLAP table function. Oracle BI has optimized this SQL to take advantage of some features in OLAP table, which offers better query performance with hierarchical columns in some situations. When the cube is imported with the Oracle BI administration tool, aggregation is set to external aggregation. This will disable the ability to create queries that require aggregation above the cube. So this is good in that it prevents users creating queries that might not work as they might expect in some cases. It also prevents filtering above aggregate. Now here we come to a real-time example of Cognos getting migrated to OBIEE. Going to actual detail will not be the scope of this webinar, but we can always discuss why we have the examples of Cognos being migrated to OBIEE. So the rationale behind this migration can be seen from this slide. So we have some nodes in the Cognos tool and some features which are not up to the mark. For instance, we see in-memory caching and security features which are not available. Previously, we saw how to set the caches, but sure, in Cognos, this feature is not supported that well. every type of migration just cannot be done because just for the sake of migration. We need to carefully plan out the migration. We should start with the real migration requirement assessment, and we can treat it as a project, and we can find out that how many manual efforts would be required, how much manual effort would be required, and whether we have the availability, expertise, and bandwidth, and we have the required timelines and feasibility. Then we can also work on the plan rollback and risk mitigation if at all the migration fails. So we see that it's not always the topmost brand which has acceptability. It's a great new features, flexibility, and performance which are key to acceptability. So the real migration should achieve low TCO and low switchover time. And when we see that it's flexible, then only we should go ahead with the particular migration. I think this is all for this today's webinar session. So I'd like to move to the Q&A session. Any questions at all? So this is over to you, moderator.
Mr. Om, I have assigned you on the questions. Can you see them?
One moment.
I've assigned you the question.
So we have one question from Shyamkan Matonkar. The question is, we have Oracle Essbase and web analysis to the dashboard. How can it be moved to OBIEE? So as I said that real migration will not be the scope of this webinar. We were just discussing the new features and why this the tools or the other companies are switching over to OBIEE was the topic for this webinar and the content. So maybe you can direct this question to me. I'll be happy to answer sometime. I can get back to you. If you can provide me the which versions you are talking about, you can provide me the specific way how to migrate from problems. So coming to the next question from Saravanan, what is your recommendation on good BI tool, which is best among the Q and OBI. So basically, he wants to know that which is the best available BI tool in the market. So as I began this presentation by some sort of a disclaimer that I am not promoting any particular tool or product or a company, I just discussed very good tools given by OBI, that is Oracle's BI tool. And you can compare and contrast with the Prognos, and you can find it for yourself. In fact, I had given one chart also that which compares Prognos with OBI. And I believe OBI scored better in that chart. And Shivam Gupta asked next question, that how do we create the RPD file? Well, this is something which you do in the previous versions in Oracle OBI 10G version. So RPD is for the OBI 10G version. And if you like to view the presentation again, we have already discussed that RPD is something like a previous version's feature. So if I'm able to answer this question, maybe I can move to the next question by Shivam Gupta, who asks us that how can we configure OBI in Samsung Galaxy Note? So we have to actually check whether an application is available for Apple. I'm sure for any of the Apple smartphone or iPad, the application is available, but we need to check from the Samsung or whether that sort of application is available or downloadable. And when we download, we need to just configure the same way as I discussed for the Apple. And then Satish Kumar asked us that what's the difference between OBI 10G and 11G. So that was the total scope of the seminar. Those features which we discussed in this current webinar session, of course, are not available. Discussed about the UI interface and the cool new features which are not available in OBI 10G. So maybe you can like to preview the recording of this webinar. I think that will be very clear. Mojit Mangal asked this question that can you please give more details on comparison on? Yeah, sure, I can give you more details, but I need to really get back to you on that, and I'm not having, but one comparison chart I have already provided. You would like to view that chart where some scalability or some sort of architecture differences are there. But if you want exact difference between OBI, I think you are talking about the latest versions, then I can really get back to you with the latest version differences and why one would like to choose a particular BI tool. So I think we have only these questions as of now. Shivam Gupta has asked another question. If you put customers' data in some schema, which would be the best one for fast fetching? OLAP, LDAP, OLTP? Okay, you should be aware what is the difference between OLTP and OLAP. So when we are talking about high transaction, we choose OLTP, but if you're talking about the reporting or the cubes or the materialized view, then we can, of course, we can select OLAP. all depends on the nature of the data which is there and how, how many transactions are coming per second and what is the nature of the transaction. Shivam Gupta has another question. Is there any way to reduce ETL load and increase the data fetching? One way would be the caching, as we have already discussed. Then we have another question. What are the parameters which we can change or upgrade for ETL access? So perhaps maybe I'm not too sure about this question. Maybe I need to really get back to you on those parameters. Or perhaps one may like look at the standard documentation about the ETL access, which provides the standard parameters.
Well, those were the only questions we had for the day, Mr. Om. Thank you so much for the insightful presentation.
Thank you.
I'm really thankful to you for conducting this webinar. It was a great session. I would also like to thank all our participants for the support in making this webinar a success. The recording of the session would be available on techgig.com by tomorrow. Thank you all. Have a great evening.